Hello our viewers, a warm welcome to this edition of the Business Forum. I am your host Felix Adupa. I am very glad and privileged to have my guest right now for this edition of the Business Forum. I really want to say thank you for your presence here, and I'm glad that you managed to make it here. How are you, gentlemen?
Oh, fine, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
I have today Mr. Gad Opio. He's the president of the East African Institute of Architects. How are you, Gad?
I'm very well.
I also have my good friend, Mr. Alfred Alvala. He's the chairman of he's the chairman of Architectural Association of Kenya, of Quantity Surveyors. He's also a treasurer of the Architectural Association of Kenya.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, and thank you for inviting us.
You're mostly welcome.
Asante sana.
Our viewers, today we are going to discuss about the roles of professions in construction industry. People have been asking a lot of questions. What do I need to do so that I can see that my building is well completed, so that you can sleep in that your dream house? Who are those you need to have? These are questions that have been asked for decades and decades. Business Forum today is going to answer your question into full details, because we have professionals right here in the studio. Now, not to go far, let us start with who is a quantity surveyor and how does one become a quantity surveyor? Alvala?
Thank you, Felix. As you introduced me correctly, I'm a quantity surveyor. Who is a quantity surveyor? A quantity surveyor is a construction cost advisor. We advise clients on the costs of buildings,
yes.
Cost of any construction that is there. We advise them on how much it is going to cost them, so that they can plan early to avoid reaching midway and getting stuck because their money is finished because they did not know the total cost.
Yes.
And how does one become a quantity surveyor? Quantity surveying is done at the university.
Yes.
And there are several universities in Kenya who are teaching that profession. University of Nairobi is one of them. Technical University of Kenya,
yes.
And Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. So they are teaching those courses. Long ago it used to take 3 years, but these days now I think it takes 4 years.
4 years.
Yes.
For one to be a quantity surveyor.
Actually, you graduate as a building economist.
Yes.
And after you have finished the university, you do a professional exam after working for 2 years. And then it is from there that now you do, if you pass the professional exams, then you become a quantity surveyor. Otherwise, you remain a building economist.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
You know that one, what it takes for somebody to be a quantity surveyor. That is Mr. Alfred. Gad.
Yes.
Who is an architect?
Thank you, Felix. I am an architect.
Yes.
And an architect is somebody who engages in planning,
yes,
design, and supervision of construction projects.
Yes. That is an architect.
That's an architect.
So there is no any house I can build without assistance of an architect?
Well, that is not allowed by law.
Yes.
But we all know what happens.
What step does exist for one to become an architect? What procedures?
Okay. To be an architect, first you have to be registered by the board, which is
yes.
Board of Registration,
yes,
of Architects and Quantity Surveyors.
Yes.
In short, we call it BORAX.
BORAX.
Yes, but before registration, you should have practiced for at least 2 years.
Yes.
You should practice under a registered architect for 2 years before you get registration. And before that, you should have been in the university for at least 6 years.
6 years?
Yes.
For somebody to become an architect?
That's right.
6 good years. and you have to register.
That sounds like a lifetime. Yes, it takes very long.
It takes long.
Yeah.
For somebody to imagine that I just want to be an architect, but I'm taking 6 years, like I'm doing. I'm a dentist. You know, they also I hear they take 7 good years in university. So I want you to tell us what is the importance of a quantity surveyor on a project, and what can I miss if I avoid using a quantity surveyor on a project. That question I will direct it to Mr. Alfred.
Yes, the usage of a quantity surveyor, what's the importance of a quantity surveyor on a project? As I told you, he's a cost advisor.
Can I not do without him?
Yes, if you can guess right. And there are very many things, very many parameters in a building, including the number of nails, including the amount of paint, including very many things.
So you must be a good guesser.
Yeah, and it's very difficult to guess all those things right. So
that's terrible.
So what we do, for us, we have been trained to be able to compute and calculate and cost the various items that go into a building. I'm using a building as one, but one can do even a bridge, or can do even a road or other construction and such like. So we go in there, we calculate, we advise you. The role of a quantity surveyor on a building, you'll find that I'll be able to work with the others, like the architects, the engineers, the various engineers, the planners, all those people, we work together. And then, like what God has said, after he has designed, he'll pass the drawing to me. Then I'll look at that drawing. I now calculate and come up with the cost of what he has designed. So you may look at a building, it looks so nice on paper, but you may not know the cost.
You cannot do without an architect.
We have to work together. We are a team.
An architect cannot do without a surveyor.
It is hard because we work as a team. It's
Wonderful.
a team. Yeah.
It's a strong team.
Yes.
What is the importance of an architect on a project? Let's say I'm going to construct a residential house. What will be your role?
Well, just like I've said, architecture is the art and science of building. So the role of architect comes in what we call the iron triangle. And when I talk about the iron triangle of a project, you are looking at cost.
Yes.
You are looking at time.
Yes.
And then you're looking at quality.
Yes.
So after designing, when I'm designing a project, I'm supposed to meet your requirements as the client, which means you'll give me a brief detailing what you want. If say it's a regular house, maybe you want a 3-bedroom. You want your master bedroom to be en suite. Maybe the other bedrooms to be en suite or to be sharing a bathroom. You want a store.
Somebody will be asking what is en suite.
Yes, en suite means the bathroom is within the bedroom.
Yes.
Yes. So that's just an example of what a brief might entail. So everyone, the same house, everyone may perceive it differently and have very different briefs. Now it's the work of an architect to put that together into a plan.
Yes.
And a design which suits your needs and your taste.
Yes.
And then after that, help you through the tendering process. And then part of the role of the architect is also to coordinate the team. Just like quantity surveyor Alwala said, to do even a simple building requires the collaboration of several consultants.
Yes.
Yes, you'll have an architect, quantity surveyor, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, civil structural engineer. You could even have an interior designer, landscape architect.
Yes.
So even in a humble project, you'll find you could be having even up to 8 consultants. So it's part of the architect's role to coordinate all these consultants, and then when you go to site, now it's the role of the architect again to supervise. Bear in mind that I'm supposed to make sure that the project is within the cost that you wanted or the cost that was budgeted. It is on time and of right quality.
In your perspective, don't you think this is so costly? Because the project needs so many people? so many professions. I need an architect, I need a civil engineer, I need a surveyor. People say it is so costly, and so many Kenyans cannot afford that. How can you build our confidence that I am going to do with the profession so that I can get the best and the quality of the house I dream to have?
Let me chip in that one. Do you think it is these consultants are very costly? You see, what is a building? What goes into a building? You'll buy stones. Whether you have an architect or no architect, you'll still buy those stones.
Yes.
The paint you'll buy, the nails you'll buy, the doors, the windows, glass, all those things you'll buy. But now, how the thing will come out, it must be planned well. If you take an example, you want to design yourself, Felix, you want to take a pencil or a pen and you draw it and you want to give a fundi to do it. You can do it, but you can be sure most likely the appearance may not be as good as the one God would have come up with. So the consultants help you to mold something to come out nice.
Yes.
The architect will come up with the proper aesthetics, the appearance, the way they have positioned the building, whether it is facing the right direction or not. Now, the engineers will come up with electrical wires. The house, will it burn because it could short circuit? Because if you did it yourself, most likely it can easily you can mess up with the wires.
Yes.
Or if it is a maisonette with an upstairs, it could collapse because you did not come up with the proper, you are not well trained to know how many chumas to use in that particular concrete. So consultants help you to come up with these things, and then the QS will tell you the cost will be this, rather than if the fundi came and told you, or the contractor came and told you, mzee, sasa nimejenga hii, it has now gone too high. For us, we'll tell him, no, the cost is this, because we know how we compute it. It's scientific, it's not guesswork.
A consultant in a project is not costly. Is that what you're trying to say?
A consultant is paid for the services he offers, and costly, it depends on what you mean costly, because I may come and work for you, give me 10 shillings or give me 20 shillings. Now if you give me 20 shillings, you may not consider it costly, it may be costly. So depending on the service, is appreciating what you have.
God, what is your take on that?
Okay, I would say it's a misconception out there that consultants are expensive. The real challenge is actually lack of information. From the outset, when you look at a building, it looks very simple. Let's say a dwelling house. So a lot of times you imagine that it's so simple to do.
Yes.
And it wouldn't cost so much. And to some people, when you give them your architectural plans, they call them mere maps. So you look at the value as the paper. Like, how do you charge so much for this paper?
Yes.
Yeah, but look at it this way, just like
because your work you just bought for me, some
yes.
funny design you have made for me. You know, why should I need you? Because somebody knows that I need to have a bricks.
Yeah.
I need to have iron sheets.
Cement.
I need to have cement.
Yes. So
then I get a fundi.
So why do you need an architect?
Why would I need somebody who bring me a funny drawing?
Yeah. So you see, that's where we are saying there's lack of information, because actually having consultants may actually save you a lot of money down the line. It may also save you a lot of time and a lot of heartache. Okay.
Yes.
The best example are these buildings which keep collapsing.
Yes.
Fortunately, if you dig deeper, you'll realize most of the buildings which collapse are done by non-professionals. They're done by quacks.
Yes.
Or the developers are taking all manner of shortcuts. So it can be very costly not to have consultants.
Yes.
Fortunately, where you have consultants, you never end up in those scenarios. But also, it perpetuates the myth, because when buildings don't collapse and you don't get into trouble, you start taking it for granted that they're just standing. But they're standing because of the input of professionals who experience and they know what they are doing.
What is the difference between one using a consultant or somebody using a fundi in his project?
Let me just add on, even before I come to that question, what God was saying. A consultant also helps you to handle the issues that the law, because all buildings are governed by the law.
Really?
So government expects us to do things based on certain standards.
Yes.
So the consultant will tell you as the developer or the client that you need to fulfill this, you need to fulfill the NEMA rules, the NCA rules, you need to have gotten this permit, you need to do this. You may not know. And some of them will do it for you. So you find that while you are here working with this work here in the studio here, a consultant could be running around there looking for those permits for you.
Yes.
And making sure that your site is also workers. The workers need to be in a particular to the registered. The contractor should be registered. So we do that one for you.
I sit inside my Oval Office or I sit inside my shop.
Yes.
And the consultant
is running around,
busy running,
yes, doing
to look
for you,
for me all the document needed
yes.
to build my mansion.
So you find that the consultants actually do a lot for you while you are doing what you do best. Because for you, take an example, you are best at communication media.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
For us, when you give us building, we are very much at home. So we leave you to do what you best know, what you do best. And for us, we do what best for you. And then everything works. You get maximum results and we get maximum results.
Yes.
Now, coming to your question about the difference between using a fundi and a consultant.
Yes. Does it make any difference?
Well, yes, a big one. The first one is what we have even said, that what a consultant will do for you. Now, a fundi will not be very well trained to probably change things midstream. Take an example. You may go and get a drawing, like what many people do. They get a design and then they push the consultants aside. They get a fundi. They say, you do it for me. A fundi tells you, I did that one for Nyango or Kamau.
Yes.
That the building that, and indeed he did it, but he was supervised. But now he wants to start being independent. So you find that when that fundi comes to your site,
yes,
the soil may not be the same as the soil at the other side. Now, but if you have consultants, the consultant will say that now we have checked the soil, that soil is not yet good, go a bit further. But for him, he's not well trained to change midstream. So the various changes that are required on a building as it goes on, we are best trained to make better changes on an ongoing project that is now going on, as opposed to a fundi who has done things because he sees them being done in a particular way and he doesn't understand why.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Opio.
Yes.
I want you to tell us, is it not cheaper for me to go on the street and buy any design, a well knitted design, as long as I like the design, I just go and give the fundi, I say, this is what I like. Is it not more affordable?
Okay.
Is it not more cheaper? What are the consequences? What will I face after doing all that? Because the vendors are having it. I need to have a house. I go, I said, can you show me what you have here? I take one,
Okay.
and that is it.
So from the face value,
Yes.
what you are saying may look true, that you'll actually save money. But if you look deeper, you'll realize you're actually getting into a disaster.
Really?
Yes.
But I just bought my my structures from the architects from.
Because the design process is not just the plan. It's actually supposed to start with you. Just like I told you, that plan may not suit your needs.
Yes.
Okay, so that's one. The other thing is, and you'll only realize later, because also many people or many of our clients may not have the technical ability to actually interpret the plan and even understand what is in there. So you'll only realize it's not working for you after you've built and invested so much money.
Yes.
At which point changing anything becomes very costly.
Yes.
So when you have an architect and you go through the design process, it's very easy to check and test and change things on plan, where it doesn't cost you anything extra. Okay. The other one are the legalities around it.
Yes.
by law, you actually can only build with a consultant. You cannot take, say, a building to City Hall for approval without a consultant. You need a registered architect to submit that building on your behalf.
Yes.
So when you buy the building, the plan on the street, it means you are going to build illegally.
My plan cannot be approved.
It cannot be approved without an architect.
It lacks merit.
That's right.
Yes.
So it will not be approved. So you are going to be groping in the dark. The other thing you realize, just like I told you,
yes,
even a small building requires minimum 3 to 5 different cadres of consultants.
Yes.
Okay. You're looking at a quantity surveyor, an architect, civil structural, mechanical, and electrical engineer as a minimum. So if you buy that plan on the street, where are these other consultants to back you up?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to be at the mercy of the fundi.
Yes.
The other thing is that, if I may add in what God is saying,
yes, Alfred,
is a building is like the suit you have. If you go to buy a ready-made suit versus the one which you went to fit, they'll be different. The way it fits on you,
yes,
they're different. You can easily say, yeah, that one is the way Felix is looking, that suit is of his really matches and fits him very well. So a building is the same. As God has said, if you just buy, it's like just going to buy, of course, you're just going to buy a shirt or a suit which you have not fitted yourself. And but when he comes and talks to you and you tell him, I want my kitchen to face this way, I want it to be a bit bigger than this, or I want my bedroom to have this and that, you see, you are getting specific. But when you just you find something that is already made. It's like going to buy a house versus building a house.
Yes.
When you buy a house, it's already fixed, done for you, fixed.
Yes.
But when you build one yourself, you can adjust things to the things that you like, so that you incorporate things that you like.
On that note, Alfred, rather than me employing a quantity surveyor, is it not good enough for me to purchase my materials, maybe cements, maybe iron sheets, maybe everything, and supervising my building project? How is it?
It is possible to do that. In fact, very, very possible.
Because why do I need a quantity surveyor? Okay?
Yes.
So that I can cast the cost of paying those people who are supposed to be supervised. I can have my lorry and go and take the bricks wherever it comes from. I can buy it myself. Why would I need a quantity surveyor there?
It will be even more expensive, although people consider it less expensive.
How?
Let me tell you this. When we come to a project and we tell you this project is going to cost you 5 million.
Yes.
And if you do it yourself, you buy things yourself, and probably you get 7 million. You have left out very many things that you did not know. That lorry of yours that you are going to go and carry materials, you cost it zero. You don't put the price, the cost that lorry is giving onto that project, because you have fueled that lorry. Probably you have hired that lorry, but you just say, let me just hire it for this. It's not much, but you don't keep on adding it. Now the second thing,
yes,
you don't put on the time. You yourself, you have taken to go looking for those iron sheets and reinforcement and cement in industrial area. You cost yourself zero. But you are not zero. You are actually a lot of money. How do you know the value of you? To know your value is you get your salary you get times the number of hours you work, you get how much you are worth per hour. So if you find you are worth 2,000 per hour, so if you take 5 hours looking for the materials, please add 10,000 on that project, because that is the cost that goes into that project. And many of us count ourselves zero. So, excuse me. So you find that it will be more expensive, but you don't think so, because you think it's less, because there are very many other aspects you have costed zero erroneously. So when you go and try to get things and do it yourself, you are a poor mathematician. You see, you have not costed some things that I'm now mentioning to you. The other thing is that when you go even into industrial area,
Yes.
and you get that Muhindi selling to you cement,
Yes.
if God Opio, who owns a construction firm,
Yes.
he goes there, they'll sell to him cheaper.
Yes.
Because he buys there regularly. They know him, they give him a discount.
The customer.
A customer. And when he's pricing for your project, he extends that discount. That's when you find the contractors compete.
Oh.
Because he says that his simiti nitanunua for 650 instead of 750 because he gives me at this much.
Yes.
So he's extending that discount to you. But if you go yourself to buy, you'll not be given that discount. They'll give you at 750.
Yes.
So you are not saving. You are actually going to use more than.
So we really need to have a professionals if we want to have a professional building.
Yes.
You're watching Up Channel Kenya, the business forum, and this is where business matters. Remember to keep the conversation going by checking us on our Twitter handle at Up Channel Kenya. Facebook page is Up Channel Kenya. We shall be sampling some of your comment during this edition of the business forum. I'll be coming back shortly, and after that, Mr. Gad, you'll be able to tell us how are the architects and quantity surveyors are regulated, and if I get a problem, how can I be assisted? That one after a short commercial break. Up Channel Kenya is your station, the business forum. I will be coming right back. Welcome back. This is the Business Forum. I am your host, Felix Adupa. We are discussing roles of professional in construction industry. Yes, God, I just asked you a question. How are you people regulated?
Thank you, Felix. Like I mentioned before, we have board of registration of architects and quantity surveyors. So this board is responsible for first training, practice, then they administer exams to graduates.
Yes.
Before now they are admitted to become professionals, or say to become an architect.
Your own
or
exam.
a quantity surveyor. Yes, so you see, after university, you must practice for 2 years under a registered architect.
Yes.
Or a registered quantity surveyor.
Yes.
Then after the 2 years, you sit Borax exams. Okay.
Set by the board of architects.
Yes, set by the board, by Borax.
Yes.
So once you pass the exams, you are given a certificate now to practice as an architect or a quantity surveyor. Now, from there, the board regulates those members.
Yes.
Which means you have to attain certain level of practice.
Yes.
Like every year you must attend a certain number of continuous professional development seminars.
Yes.
When there are complaints, they also receive complaints against practitioners. Like say if you have a problem with your architect or quantity surveyor, then you report to the board. So the board has a disciplinary committee that looks into all matters where there's a conflict between architects, quantity surveyors, and their clients. The board also ensures that there's no conflict of interest in the practice. So where they identify a conflict of interest,
yes,
by law they're allowed to intervene even if there's no complaint. So basically that's how they regulate the industry.
I am safe once I'm using a surveyor or I'm using an architect.
Yes.
This board will settle all the dispute that arise within the two parties amicably.
That's true.
You have something to add on that?
I think what God has said is quite true. The board, they will also ensure that there is no errant member, because all of us are members. For you to be registered as a quantity surveyor, you need to have been registered by BORAX, Board of Registration of Architects and Quantity Surveyors,
Yes.
in short BORAX.
Yes.
And BORAX will be able to, if you came, if Alvala came, did a job for you and I did a poor job,
Yes.
and you asked me to repair it or to do work, but I refused, you have the right to go and complain and say that, hey, I hired this guy, this quantity surveyor or the architect, and he has not performed the way we agreed. They'll be able to look into it. They'll arbitrate. They will look into it. They will listen to you, and if they prove that I went wrong or God went wrong,
Yes.
they will be able to say, okay, that they'll carry out disciplinary action. I could even be
How will I
registered.
be assisted? I've already put a lot of money.
I could
to
be
pay the
deregistered.
consultant.
You see, I could be deregistered, and you know, for me to be deregistered, I can't work. Basically, you have removed my tools from my hands. And I could even be told probably even to pay if there was misconduct in whichever one, depending on what error or what mistake I did. Probably I was paid more money. I overpaid. You overpaid me. The board will look into it and say, now this one he did not do the right thing, and then they'll say this. The remedy is this. So the board will come up with.
God, you are the president of the East African Institute of Architects.
Thank you.
That's a very big association. How can I pay an architect, or how can I pay a quantity surveyor? This board, do they have a fixed price to all these departments?
Thank you, Felix. The fees of an architect and quantity surveyors are actually controlled by law. We have Cap 525,
Yes.
which states the amount of fees an architect or a quantity surveyor is supposed to charge.
Yes.
For an architect, comes to about 6%
6%.
of the cost of the project at completion.
Yes.
The upper ceiling is unlimited. It depends on how you negotiate with your client. So part of the role of the board is to ensure that there's no undercutting. Like professionals are not charging below the scale fees. The other role of the board is to check double crossing. Okay, you
Yes.
find you are collaborating with your fellow colleagues. The next thing they hear is that you've gone with the project plus the client. So that's not allowed.
Yes.
People normally agree.
You don't do catwalk.
Yes, yes. You don't double cross. People,
Yes.
people are greedy.
Uh-huh.
Then the other thing is these fees then depends on the size of the project. Why fees are regulated is so that people, because building or architecture is a creative process. Okay, it's also about competency. It's about experience.
Yes.
Now, what happens is that if fees are not regulated, then people start undercharging, or they charge too little, not enough even to do the job, to carry out the work. Then they are forced now to take shortcuts.
Yes.
What's supposed to happen is that when the charge is uniform, then it means we are now competing on performance and creativity, which is what it is. So if it was a well-organized company, then they would organize a design competition
Yes.
to pick out the best architect or the best consortium of consultants who will do their project. But in the absence of that, they can then look at the previous jobs you've done, and then maybe through references, maybe good word from somebody you worked for. So that is preferred to, as opposed to letting professionals compete on fees alone, because then we'll not be able to maintain the standards and give the best service to our clients.
Alfred,
Yes.
what is your take on that?
I think what God has said is correct. What a quantity surveyor will do, take an example, if we are coming up with this building, the work that he will do, one quantity surveyor will be the same with the other one. So the fee is the same. For quantity surveyors, he said architects is minimum 6%. For quantity surveyors is minimum 3.5%, including it's simply broken down, like a quantity survey is broken down. The first estimate before you build 0.5%.
So I know that if I'm going to hire an architect, he's going to take 6% of the total of the building.
Yes. And the quantity survey will take 3.5%.
3.5%.
Yes. Because
so I have to include all these people.
We will give you when we come up as a team, we give you the breakdown of the fee. So the fee will be broken down this and that, so that you know right at the beginning that the building itself will cost me X, the consultants will cost me Y, the total will be Z.
6%, 3.5% guaranteed in the law.
Yeah, those ones in CAP 525. They're all stipulated in CAP 525, so that what we do.
CAP 525 is guaranteed in the law. And if you are looking for an architectural or you're looking for a quality surveyor, CAP
525.
525.
Yes.
It's guaranteed.
Yes.
Your money, everything about your business is guaranteed in the law.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do not, the law does not allow us, at least we are not expected to start undercutting. Or if a guard is a quantity surveyor, he knows that I'm going to ask 3.5%. He says, no, me, I'll just ask for 3%. And another one says, no, for me to get it, let me just ask for 2.5%. You see, but it's the same work we are going to do. Yes. So the law does not encourage that. Yes. We should not compete. We can compete on design, like how it looks like, how it is molded, how it comes, because creativity. But now when it comes computation, the costing of those things,
there should be no price competition.
No, should not be. So even if price competition for an architect, the work he will do is the same. The work that QS will do is the same. So you don't need to compete, because competition, let me tell you this, let me imagine a bad and
You're
awkward.
telling our viewers.
Yes.
Yes.
And imagine an awkward situation. If I came and I told you I'm so desperate, I really need this job, and then I say, just give me 1% instead of 3.5% or instead of 6%. You know, many people may still get their money back because they want to go behind and get the money from the contractor. Tell the contractor, I want to load my money on this, so that you give me, I say that the contractor has done worth 10 shillings, and then when he actually did worth 8 shillings. So this 2 shillings is mine, so that I'm getting my 2 shillings on top of what you are giving me, so that I end up getting the correct amount of money. So you are still paying me what, if not more. So the best thing is, let's have a proper fee paid, and people know they're getting their proper fee, and they keep the ethics, so they don't go behind the client.
Yes.
You're the president of the East African Institute of Architects. You are the CEO of God's Works Holding Limited. You are also the CEO of Diaspora's Design Building Limited. And as well, you are the outgoing chairman of Architectural Association of Kenya. What have you
Architects
achieved?
chapter.
Yes. What have you achieved in the building industry?
Well,
what are the legacy?
I would say I'm still on the journey. And I hope the legacy would be great.
Remember, you are outgoing. You are now going somewhere.
Yes, I'm outgoing chairman for the Architects chapter.
Yes.
So I would say professionally, one of the things we've achieved when I was in the seat, we organized a very successful Award of Excellence event last year.
Yes.
Early last year. This was sponsored by Basco Duracoat.
Yes.
Where we recognize the best amongst ourselves in terms of design. It's a way of recognizing excellence, recognizing high quality work, and recognizing people who have made contribution to the industry of architecture. So that to me was a major milestone and a major achievement.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you are the president of East African Institute of Architects.
Yes.
What are your roles there?
Well, East African Institute of Architects, first it's important to understand the membership. The membership of East African Institute of Architects are the member sections, which is the countries.
Yes.
So you have Kenya, you have Uganda, you have Rwanda, and
South
then
Sudan.
You have Tanzania. We hope South Sudan will join us one time.
The Bado.
bado, but they're aspiring. So these 4 countries are already members.
Yes.
Then we have the architectural associations in each of those countries. So you have Uganda Society of Architects, which is a member of East Africa Institute of Architects.
Yes.
You have Rwanda Institute of Architects, that's RIA. Then you have Tanzania Association of Architects, which is AAT.
Yes.
Association of Architects of Tanzania. So, and then we have our AAK, Architects chapter. So these member institutes are the ones which form the East Africa Institute of Architects. So we don't have individual architects as members, but we have the institutes as the members. Therefore, our role mainly is structural. We are supposed to coordinate these associations. One of the key milestones is the mutual recognition agreement, which means if today I'm an architect in Kenya, I can cross borders and go and practice in Uganda or even in Rwanda.
So you people are promoting the spirit of East Africa integration.
Yes, and East Africa community.
That is good.
So that's one of our key roles, apart from just the structural aspects of running the association, keeping records, organizing meetings for the council.
What do God's Holding Limited and Diaspora's Design Build Limited do?
Okay. So at my level, I do real estate and I do architectural services.
Yes.
So Diaspora Design Build is my architectural arm, and God's Works Holding Limited is my real estate company.
Yes.
So professionally, we are supposed to separate the two.
Yes.
To avoid conflict of interest.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Alfred Alavala is the chairman of AAK Quantity Surveyors and is also a treasurer of Architectural Association of Kenya. What do you have to say about your position?
It's very difficult for one to examine himself, but usually what people tell you is then what
our viewers want to know more about this gentleman.
Yes.
And how this gentleman is so beneficial to all of us.
Yes.
So that we can protect this gentleman for the next future generation to get the legacy of Mr. Alfred. Yes.
Right. Of course, as a treasurer of AAK, Architectural Association of Kenya, you are in charge of the finances.
Yes.
You ensure that the association is running well. The funds don't go dry. You know, if money is there, many people, we are very many, over 2,000 or so. And there are very many needs, and the funds are not endless. So you manage it, you allocate funds, and ensure that things are flowing within the association. So to me, that has been my work, to ensure that finances are run well, they are not misused, and all the vital departments get the required funds. As the chairman of AAK Quantity Surveyors chapter, I coordinate all the quantity surveyors within the nation and ensure that we are running programs. There is harmony, you know, where there are many people, we are bound to rub each other wrong side, so ensure that everything is moving on well. We ensure that programs have been introduced which bring in money for the association so that we go into run various functions, and members are well catered for, their needs are well met. So mine is to chair the chapter. We ensure that the members give their views of what they want to be done within that particular time, and we program for them.
You both belong to Architectural Association of Kenya. What role does you people play in this country?
What role does AAK play in this country?
Yes.
Oh, we do very many things. We liaise with the government, especially where things require professionals. Take an example. We have an organization like public procurement, PPOA. So when they want people to go in there and advise them, that's a government arm. They ask us to give recommendation, and we have got our people working there. When they were looking for a commission even to employ this police, the Kavludi belongs to this commission, police service. Yeah, they asked us to send our people there. In fact, it was chaired by the quantity surveyor who was seconded there to employ, to be able to pick the candidate that is there now, the chairman. So we send to, even in EACC, we have quantity surveyors there. Take an example, if they are investigating, or if they hear there is a scam on a certain project, and it requires investigation. We
CDF project.
Exactly. We have quantity surveyors there who will do, they'll go in there and say that, did they use this amount of money, or is somebody, did things go wrong? So they will do it quietly, secretly, without even the consultants who are on it knowing that they're being investigated.
Alfred, thank you so much for that clarification. God, do you have anything to add on top of that?
Yes, I would like to add on. AK is the premier association in the built environment.
Yes.
And it encompasses all the professions in the built environment. We have about 7 chapters.
Yes.
That is architects, quantity surveyors, landscape architects, project managers, environmental designers.
Yes.
There are 7 of them. So one of the roles of AK is to coordinate all the varied associations. The other role is to enhance the art and science of building, okay, by sponsoring research and collaborating with other international organizations.
Yes.
Like AK is a member of UIA, the International Association of Architects. It's also a member of AUA, Architects Association of Africa, or Architects Union of Africa, and many other international bodies like CA, okay, and RIBA, Royal Institute of British Architects. So all this we collaborate. So that's part of the role of AAK. The other role of AAK is to promote education, architectural education.
Yes.
So we collaborate with the schools of architecture, universities, technical institutes, to validate their programs so that whatever they are teaching will suit the industry and is up to the professional standards. The other key role, of course, is the development of members. You see, once you become an architect, we suppose that you are supposed to be learning continuously. So we encourage ethical practice. We also encourage members to be up to date with the current trends in the industry.
Thank you so much. It has been a business forum with me, your host Felix Adupa. I was having my good guest. I really want to say thank you, gentlemen, for your presence here. I had Gad Opio, is the president of the East African Institute of Architects. He's also the outgoing chairman of Architectural Association of Kenya.
Architect chapter.
Architect chapter. Been having Mr. Alfred Alovalo, is also the chairman of Architectural Association of Kenya, or Quantity Surveyors, chapter. Chapter of Kenya. He's also a treasurer of AAK. Now we have been talking about roles of professional in business. Next week we shall come back, same time. Don't go away. Tune us next week as we come and see many more in the business, especially in the building industry. Remember, God is a real estate businessman. We shall be bringing them back and ask several questions. Keep the conversation growing. You can send in your comment, your question at Op Channel Kenya. That is our Twitter handle. At Op Channel Kenya, that is our Facebook page. And we shall be able to sample and answer all your questions that you want to be answered right here on Business Forum. Business Forum, it is where business matter. I will see you on Sunday again. Thank you so much.